50 years old, and then you finally wake up one day and you realize that you wasted your whole freaking life being a nobody and a nothing, that's your opinion. That's your prerogative. You can do that. But let me tell you something. Jesus Christ has called you to be something greater. He's defined you to be something greater than what you've been labeled or what you've been brought up to be. Jesus Christ has taken specifically and created life into you. The Bible says in Jeremiah 1:5, it says, before you were formed in the womb, I knew you. Did you know that, Michael? I'm not just preaching at you, bro. I love you, man. Jeremiah 1:5 says, before you were in the womb, I formed you. I made you. I consecrated you. I set you apart to be a prophet to all nations. In other words, before you were even formed, before you were even a twinkle in your daddy's eye one night in the back seat of your mama's car, okay? Before that even happened, Jesus Christ knew who you was. God had a purpose and a plan for you. Jeremiah 29:11 says, I know my plans for you. My plans are for you to prosper, to not harm you, for you to grow, for you to be somebody, to be something. So why don't we walk around with this chip on our shoulder like every cop in the world is a 5-0 and 5-0 gonna bust me? Why? Why are they gonna bust you? Because you got your pants sagging and your hat turned sideways? Okay, that's profiling. Take them to court. You think just because you're a wannabe gangster or that you're so bad that a cop's going to pull you over and harass you? Absolutely not. Absolutely not. The fact of the matter is this. When you walk around like your whole world is turned upside down and you're going to beat somebody down that looks at you crossways, then people are going to come and automatically say, well, that kid's trouble right there. That kid's trouble. They can tell by your body language, by your demeanor, by the fact that you cross your arms and you and everything. Or you got some stupid comment to make all the time. Right? And that's going to become a real problem. You can ask any adult in this room that has a job right now. It's going to become a real problem one day when you're on a job and your boss tells you, because listen, let me tell you something. You know that Donald Trump answers to somebody? Bill Gates answers to somebody. The President of the United States answers to somebody. So it doesn't matter who you are or what you're going to do. The bank's either going to control you, or your boss is going to control you, or the stockholders in your company that you own, that you created, that you made, are going to own you. Right? Does that make sense? Somebody is always going to be in charge of you. Somebody's always going to be a step higher than you. So somebody is always going to be in authority over you. So why do we act like it's the worst thing in the world for somebody to tell us what to do? Especially your parents. When God created your parents to be that. God created them to be an authority figure in your life, to speak into your life. Now, I'm sure some of your parents, I hope all of your parents in here try to speak positively into your life, but maybe they don't. Maybe they've spoken negatively into your life, and that's their fault. But from right now, from this point right now, forward, you can be different if you choose to be. So how many of you want to be real tonight? How many of you want Jesus Christ to do something, just to come into your life and come to your heart and shake things up and rattle you so much that you can't help but just be on fire and tell people about it? You wake up in the morning and you feel it. You go to bed at night and you feel it. You get that little spring in your step just because you know you're different. You get a little happy just because you know what? God changed me. I can be somebody. I am somebody. I don't have to be. Man, I tell you what, I feel this thing tonight. You can be somebody. It doesn't matter where you came from or what you've done in your life, how many mistakes you've made. You are somebody because you finally wake up in the morning and you say, you know what, devil? I'm going to step out today and I'm going to be what God intended for me to be. I'm going to be what God's called me to be. There's nothing you can do to stop me. You know why? Because God has spoken into my life. You're going to get up and you're going to walk through the house and your dad's going to say, take out the trash, and you're going to scoop it up. And your mom's going to say, wash the dishes, and you're going to wash them. You're going to hit the school bus on time. You're going to throw the trash away. You're going to get to school. You're going to start making better grades. You're going to start doing these things because Jesus Christ has come into your life and totally messed up your plan and put His divine will into your heart and into your life.
Yes.
Y'all ain't got to shut me down. I know I'm preaching tonight.
That's right.
I know I'm speaking to somebody tonight. It's time to let this rough, tough exterior go. It's time to let go of this authority thing, this rebellious spirit that you have against anybody who's in charge. Because let me tell you something. God has a plan for you. You will never accomplish anything as long as you work in rebellion. You'll never do what God told you to do or wants you to do as long as you are living in rebellion. When you go to church, you're going to have a pastor that's over you. When you work for the church, you're going to have a leader that's over you. If you're a volunteer, I don't care. Look right here. There's a whole room full of volunteers back here. You think they do anything in this youth group without calling me first? Absolutely not. Do I trust them? Sure do. Could they? Absolutely. But they wouldn't have done it without me saying, hey, I trust you enough to go do it. Why? Because I'm over them in the Lord. Now, are you guys going to do anything in this room when Lonnie and Belinda's teaching without asking them first? Absolutely not, because they're over you in the Lord. Right? So it doesn't matter where you go. You're on your church van. You're in your church. You're working in the church. You're a volunteer. You're singing in the choir. Somebody's still going to tell you when to be at choir practice. They're still going to tell you what songs to sing, when you're going to sing them, how you're going to sing them, how you're going to do them. So why do we fight the thing in our life that tries to make us better so much? Does that make sense? Right now, where you're at this point in your life, in this junction in your life right now, your parents have tried to develop you and make you and mold you into something, or they should be. I'm hoping they have tried to make and mold you and shape you into somebody better than what they were. Any parent that doesn't do that, I feel sorry for them. Because I want my son to be better than I am. I want my son and my daughter to achieve more than I've achieved. Does that make sense? I have higher expectations for my children because I want them to be somebody and do something. It's not because I just want to tell them what to do. So let's look at this from a parent's perspective. Let's look at this from a teacher's perspective. From a principal's perspective, a coach's perspective. Your coach hammers you at practice, and he beats you, and he pushes you until you feel like you have absolutely nothing else left to give. And when the soreness is gone and you hit the weight room the next time, you're that much stronger, right? You got a teacher that fails you because you goof off in class. You take her next semester and you decide not to goof off. What happens? She becomes your best friend and you begin to learn something. I'm telling you, when you take this authority thing, you put it in subjection, and you realize the difference in authority and rebellion and how they intertwine, when you begin to realize that you are working in rebellion and you let that go, you're going to see your life change. Chris, if you would go ahead and